Peeps very well might be the most polarizing candy in all the land. First developed back in 1953, this love-it-or-hate-it marshmallow confection has managed to become a fixture in America, particularly around Easter. But not every Peep-based concoction is worth checking out. One of the strangest inventions of all time has to be sugar-free Peeps. Regular Peeps are made almost entirely out of sugar.
When they're deposited, they're already covered in sugar, but then they go through sugar showers, so the rest of their bodies get covered in them.
Unsurprisingly, the sugar-free version is a massive letdown. All the sugary goodness is gone, and in its place is an overwhelming amount of obviously fake sweetness. The worst part about putting one of these things in your mouth has to be the chemical aftertaste. It should be obvious to everyone that traditional Peeps aren't a healthy food for you to eat. Not only are they packed with sugar, they have a number of other questionable ingredients in them. But no, these sugar-free Peeps are not the answer. They taste bad and they actually still have 60 calories per serving. If you think you can mindlessly munch on these faux Peeps all day long without worrying about your health, you're wrong. Do yourself a favor and stay as far away as you can from this abomination of a candy. There was understandably a lot of excitement when Hot Tamales Peeps were announced to the world. In theory, these Peeps should be a big hit in the eyes of candy connoisseurs. Imagine the sweetness of Peeps balanced by the fiery, cinnamon-powered greatness that is Hot Tamales. Your taste buds should experience a roller coaster of unending delight, right? Tragically, reality isn't as tasty. Instead, Hot Tamales Peeps don't taste much like cinnamon at all. There's also no fiery kick to keep you entertained. Rather than being the best of both worlds, this candy tastes like an annoyingly chewy version of Hot Tamales that have inexplicably lost most of their flavor. As it turns out, you'd be much better off to eat Peeps and Hot Tamales separately than to try to combine their forces. It was a noble attempt, but ultimately, Hot Tamale Peeps are a failure that should be avoided. Much like Hot Tamales Peeps, the theoretical hope of what Peeps cereal could be is much better than the real thing. When this cereal was announced, fans of Peeps hoped that it would be a fun alternative to Lucky Charms. As it turns out, it's a cereal you may buy once for the novelty of it, but you won't even consider buying it twice. The first problem is the sweetness of Peeps cereal. Even if you have a sweet tooth and fall head over heels for everything sugary, you'll still be grossed out by how sweet the cereal tastes with each mouthful. You might enjoy your first bite, but the sugariness soon overpowers all of your senses, and you'll need to take a break. To make matters worse, the marshmallows in Peeps cereal are smaller and less of a presence than you'd think. Before you finish your bowl, you'll realize that Lucky Charms is a much superior cereal. Peeps and cotton candy have a lot of things in common. Not only are both foods fun to eat and enjoyed by people of all ages, they are both primarily made of sugar and feature a unique texture. Unfortunately, their marriage is a rocky one. Cotton candy Peeps aren't terrible, mind you, but there are definitely better Peeps options on the market. The overriding issue is the texture. Compared to normal Peeps, cotton candy Peeps are harder and grittier. Perhaps that was by design, but the result is a treat that feels and tastes like it has gone stale. Unless eating stale bread is your idea of a good time, you can do a whole lot better than cotton candy Peeps. Remember Jell-O pudding pops? Back in the 1980s, those frozen treats were hyped to the moon and back for supposedly replicating everything you like about chocolate pudding while placing it frozen on a stick to make it even easier to eat. However, pudding pops ended up being discontinued in 2011. Don't be surprised if chocolate pudding Peeps meet the exact same fate. Though these things are edible, that's about as much praise as they deserve. When you first open the package of chocolate pudding Peeps, you'll be hopeful because it has a strong chocolatey smell. Sadly, once you put this candy to your lips, all your hopes and dreams disappear. The chocolate flavor is extremely mild. To compound the problem, the aftertaste has a pungent flavor that doesn't taste much like chocolate at all. If you can't get enough of the taste of blue raspberry, you can thank Icy for that invention. The flavor came to life in the 1950s and remains a favorite to this day. Compared to regular raspberry flavor, blue raspberry is a little bit different. It's difficult to put your finger on the exact difference, but at the very least, the flavor has more tartness to it. That said, if you love blue raspberry, you will probably be underwhelmed by blue raspberry Peeps. These Peeps taste a lot more like regular raspberry than the blue raspberry flavor that we've grown to know and love over the last 60+ years. There's a tiny amount of sourness at play, but it's not enough to be especially pleasurable. If you're craving blue raspberry, ignore these Peeps and go back to where it all started and get a blue raspberry icy at your nearest corner store. Like the previously mentioned Peeps cereal, the problem with Fruit Punch Peeps is the staggering amount of sweetness you encounter with each and every bite. Eventually, you'll get tired of these Peeps and move on to something that won't assault your taste buds so much.
Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian Punch? Sure!
Hawaiian Punch is the most comparable flavor to Fruit Punch Peeps. However, it's more like pouring yourself a glass of Hawaiian Punch and then adding about 5 tablespoons of sugar. If you are someone who thinks regular Hawaiian Punch isn't sweet enough, maybe you'll find joy in these super sweet Peeps. For everyone else, you won't want to eat more than one of these Fruit Punch Peeps. Peeps dipped in milk chocolate are the first Peeps on this list that can be fairly described as above average. These aren't the best of the best, but you also won't be dismayed if you give these bad boys a try. This candy is just like regular Peeps, except there's a layer of chocolate on the bottom. Truth be told, the chocolate will leave you feeling a little disappointed. First, there's hardly any chocolate. Second, the milk chocolate is needlessly sweet. Why use sweet milk chocolate when the Peeps are already sweet? Third, the texture is flimsy. Even worse, the chocolate melts all over your hands and makes a huge mess. Party cake Peeps are a fun choice if you go out hunting for Peeps. These joyous treats are mostly white, however the party starts once you notice the explosion of colorful sprinkles that are added to each one. As you chow down on these Peeps, their look alone will put you in a celebratory mood. Do these Peeps actually taste like cake, or is that a marketing ploy? Yes, surprisingly, they do taste like cake. If you've ever had funfetti cake before, that's what party cake Peeps taste like. Don't expect a strong vanilla flavor though. These Peeps are relatively subdued flavor-wise, despite their appearance. Chocolate caramel swirl Peeps aren't for the faint of heart. Compared to traditional Peeps, these treats are completely different. If you take a bite without knowing what to expect, be prepared to be stunned. First of all, the marshmallow part of these Peeps tastes like a combination of caramel and milk chocolate. The combo is sweet, but not overly sweet. Next, the caramel chocolate marshmallow is dipped in more chocolate. Last but certainly not least is what's in the center. Much like Cadbury cream eggs, chocolate caramel swirl Peeps have a surprise hiding in the middle. Creamy caramel that is gooey and oh so yummy. While flavored Peeps can sometimes struggle to match their desired flavor, that's not an issue with these root beer float Peeps. They taste remarkably like the root beer floats that A&W is famous for. The first thing you'll taste is the deep root beer flavor. The aftertaste is when the vanilla hits. All in all, these Peeps taste remarkably like a real root beer with a few scoops of vanilla ice cream in it. Pick up a few packs of root beer float Peeps, and you can have a scrumptious root beer float substitute any time of the day, no matter where you are in the world. If you want to experience the best raspberry-flavored Peeps, skip the blue raspberry Peeps and head directly to raspberry Peeps dipped in fudge instead. These beauties are a huge upgrade. Their vivid color is the first hint that you're in for a treat. The marshmallow is bright red and has a strong raspberry flavor to match. On the bottom of each candy, you'll notice what appears to be white chocolate. It's actually fudge that is flavored like decadent cream. The natural sweetness of the marshmallow, combined with the richness of the fudge and the tartness of the raspberry, is really, really good. Don't be shocked if these become your go-to flavor of Peeps. At first blush, you might think that a Froot Loops Peeps Pop is a gimmicky product that can't possibly live up to the fanfare. Peeps mixed with the flavor of Froot Loops cereal and then placed on a stick to make it look like a lollipop can't be a serious creation, can it? And it can't possibly taste all that good, right? Amazingly, not only is this product not a gimmick, it's one of the very best Peeps items you can purchase with your hard-earned dollars. Surprised? There are green, blue, red, and orange Peeps on the stick, and they taste exactly like the beloved Froot Loops we all know and crave. These Peeps are extra soft, which makes the stick a welcomed addition because you don't need to worry about your fingertips getting sticky. If you have a hankering for your favorite childhood cereal, go ahead and buy these Peeps. Your inner child will thank you. There is so much to love about coconut Peeps dipped in dark chocolate. If you've given up on Peeps due to the candy having a reputation of being overly sweet, give these bad boys a try before you throw in the towel. This candy has layers upon layers of goodness. First, it starts with a coconut-flavored marshmallow. The marshmallow is white as snow, so you might expect it to taste like a regular marshmallow. But instead, it tastes like extra fresh and extra flavorful coconut with just the right amount of sweetness. If you're a fan of coconut, these are the Peeps you should acquire. The good news doesn't stop there. On the bottom of these Peeps is a coating of dark chocolate that is insanely rich. It supplies the perfect amount of bitterness and manages to make the coconut taste even better. If you love Mounds candy bars, you will adore Coconut Peeps dipped in dark chocolate. If you've ever wished for a sour version of Peeps, your prayers have been answered by the candy gods. Sour watermelon Peeps are everything you were hoping for, and more. These things are legitimately one of the best sour candies you can find everywhere. A lot of candy that claims to be sour isn't actually that sour. That's not the case with sour watermelon Peeps. Sour is in its name, and sour is exactly what it delivers. Your lips will pucker the moment these Peeps hit your taste buds. But don't worry, it's not a harsh amount of sourness. There's a kick to it, but it's more fun than painful. Before the sour flavor of these Peeps can overwhelm you, the sweet aftertaste shows up along with the strong flavor of watermelon. Soon you'll feel refreshed, relaxed, and ready for the next round of sourness to start your adventure all over again. There are only two kinds of people in this world: those who love Peeps and those who hate Peeps. If you're in the former group, no other kind of Peeps can ever compare to the greatness of original Peeps. Sure, you might try some of the Peeps items mentioned earlier, but eventually you will find your way back to the originals.
The best way to eat a Peep is right off the conveyor belt. It's like warm and gooey.
By the way,
when it comes to original Peeps, don't be confused by the colors and the shapes. You can find yellow, green, pink, lavender, and blue versions of these Peeps, but they all taste exactly the same. You can find them in different shapes like chicks and bunnies, but again, there's absolutely no difference when it comes to the taste. For many people, spring wouldn't be spring and Easter wouldn't be Easter without the magic that is original Peeps. Check out one of our newest videos right here! Plus, even more MASH videos about your favorite treats are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.